While companies may have had campuses all across the country, there's interest now maybe consolidating in one centralized location, which puts Plano really in a great position because of our central location and proximity to DFW Airport.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Stoller.
And I'm Shauna Haley, and this is Inside Plano. Well, welcome back to Inside Plano. You know, it's been about a year since we last talked about anything happening with the state of business in Plano, and certainly about our redevelopment projects.
And it's amazing how many things we have going on right now.
Yeah, for sure. So today's show is probably going to dig into a lot of those. We have some familiar guests. Do you want to introduce them or reintroduce them?
Absolutely. We're thrilled to have our repeat guests. We have Doug McDonald, who's our Director of Economic Development, and Peter Braster, who is our Director of Special Projects. And today we want to talk about the Collin Creek project and Parker West.
And maybe a few other things too, because what do we not know about business is the question. So welcome back to the two of you. We're glad to have you here. Let's start with an update on that retail rehabilitation program, because I think that's the last economic development toolkit that we talked about. And it's my understanding, Peter, there is now an official council-approved retail rehabilitation incentive.
That's right. That's Parker West. Parker West is located on the west side of Parker and Custer. It's one of the older shopping centers in Plano, and the owners approached us. They wanted to spend about $4 million rehabbing the center, and fixing some ADA compliance problems, the parking lots, the landscaping, the painting, all of the good stuff that makes a whole refresh. That's what the whole program was developed for, is just that kind of project. So we're granting them about $300,000 in grant funds, which comes out of the Economic Development Fund, to do just that work and help them along. So we're really excited to get that going, because it's a vital corner in Plano and a real good refresh.
So remind our listeners, since it's been a while, the intent of this program is to bring properties kind of up to a new competitive level and do what else?
Sure. So it does a lot of things. When you fix the corner of a major corner like Custer and Parker, you're shifting the idea of what's behind it up to a level up. So great homes in Plano, great neighborhood behind it. Now you have a front door to that neighborhood that looks just as good as the neighborhood. And so it really is about lifting all the boats in that old term, but lifting everybody so that, you know, the rest of the neighborhood has come up. Now we have the front corner looking just as well as the neighborhood, and everybody can enjoy a better quality visual aesthetics, if you will.
Well, I drive through that intersection all the time, so it'll be nice to have kind of a refreshed look coming.
It's actually one of the busier intersections in Plano, weirdly, but it is.
Well, it's practically the heart, right, of
right,
Plano.
Right.
Well, you know, another project that we certainly in our department get lots of calls and questions about is Collin Creek. It feels like it's been under reconstruction for a very long time, and we've noticed lately that there's a little bit of confusion, maybe misunderstanding over whether the project is on hold, if it's moving forward. We thought maybe today you could give us some clarity on what's actually happening out there.
Sure. So lots of stuff is happening. There's, I think, almost 60 homes already occupied, still people living there. And the townhouse that's on the western side. You know, with the economy going in the last couple of years, the way it's going with interest rates, some of that has slowed it down as far as the retail and sort of multifamily part of it. But all of that is working itself out. So the developer, Centurion American, decided to concentrate on the retail first, which wasn't necessarily what they were going to do in the beginning. So they are in permit review, I believe, for the upgraded retail. So to really redo it. They've done some work. If you've seen the drone shots, it's all really a jagged outline of the old building. They're squaring that off right now. So that work is done. They're chipping out, a couple 100,000 square feet of floor tile. I saw one guy in there with a jackhammer just chipping away. So that kind of work is done. The parking garage is complete. It's not finished out, so it's not pretty yet, but it is complete. So all of that work has been going on. If you do drive by, I think you'll see only a half of one of the large piles of dirt left. They're going to backfill on the mall structure itself any day now. So you won't have any more large piles. So the what do people call it, Mount Planos, are now gone. They are grading. They're now about to kick off. My meeting is actually later on today. Kick off the east side, all the public improvements. That's all the roads, water, sewer, electric, all that stuff going in will now kick off. So that should be done in the next 6 months. And we'll see, and hopefully the retail under construction. So we'll see a lot of progress this year, just as much as all the new homes popping up on the Alma side.
I think a lot of people didn't realize when they thought that it was stagnant and nothing was happening, that a lot of the work was being done on the parking garage underground.
Absolutely.
So it's something that they didn't see driving by every day.
Yeah, you have to really get down to it to see it. And it's a huge parking garage. It's 1,976 spaces, which is a tremendous amount of parking. So you will be able to find parking when you go visit the retail. And the other thing that is kind of remarkable is the floor heights of the garage. They're 14-foot ceilings. So you're going to have, it feels very open when you go down there. And so you're not going to feel like this sort of, you're entering a hole. It's bright and airy and quite nice, actually.
And we're going to have a park there eventually too, I understand.
That's with 2 parks, actually. There's about 8 acres of parks going in. And those 2 will be finishing up in the next couple of months as well, or not quite finished, but you'll see them and be hopefully soon to be activated.
There's so much attention on the major projects in Plano. Beyond those projects, how's the Plano business community faring?
You know, it's faring well. I think you know, there's obviously some uncertainty still that's lingering out there from interest rates, from trade discussions, from pandemic, even the recovery and coming back in the office. We are still seeing a desire for consolidation of campuses. So while companies may have had campuses all across the country, there's interest now maybe consolidating in one centralized location, which puts Plano really in a great position because of our central location and proximity to DFW Airport. So I think really the activity we're seeing here is a steady activity. I think we're starting to see a lot bigger projects. Probably I think last year we were talking about projects that may have been around, 25 to 50,000 square feet of office deals. Now we're seeing hundreds and even projects that are, the million square feet of projects that are now in the pipeline for us. So it is warming back up. I think just the uncertainty is kind of pushing it maybe a little bit further out in terms of a year or so of seeing some activity really happening. But in the meantime, we really have ramped up a lot of the policies, a lot of the programs to really get our environment and the market ready here in Plano to be able to respond in a very positive manner when the drivers come back in place.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about some of the new businesses that are joining our community?
Yeah, it's a unique perspective right now. I think probably the last maybe 24 months, we have really diversified what's now on the ground and actually coming up. So Plano, we're really known for our corporate headquarters and these big names that call Plano home. We have now seen a number of data center projects break ground that are under construction now. We have data center expansion happening up in the Granite Park area. We have the new data centers going in along the southeast quadrant of the city in the RT district off North Star. So you drive by, you'll see now construction going up at the new data center. A lot of demand for data, a lot of demand for that type of use, but it's great for Plano because one, it doesn't have a lot of traffic, and it brings a lot of revenue for our tax base. Just as long as we have enough power and water supply for these type of uses, which we've been planning ahead for that, these are going to be great assets for our community to continue to make sure we're being able to bring in other companies that need those data uses. We're seeing manufacturing projects now. In the next few weeks, you're going to see a groundbreaking of Delta Electronics. That has been a project that the governor has really touted as being one of the projects of the year last year that happened in the state of Texas. Has been recognized a lot of local magazines, a lot of state magazines. It's one of the reasons why the state of Texas won its Governor's Cup again is because Delta Electronics here in Plano. They'll be breaking ground the old Alcatel campus in central Plano. We also have Sysgration, which is a project we're working on with Peter's team, another Taiwanese company coming in and bringing electronics manufacturing into our RT district. We're also seeing the office start filling back up. So we're seeing some activity at the new Ryan Tower. Ryan's going to be coming back into the office and entering their new building here in Plano next month in August. We know the new Granite Park 6 tower is about 60-70% leased now. So that's has seen a lot of interest. Simpson Strong-Tie has moved in there, a big company we worked with coming out of California. And so it's really diversified our market, where we're seeing a lot of activity, not only in the office market, which was what we're known for, but manufacturing and really data centers.
Yeah, you touching on that idea of diversity, you've talked in the past, and I think it's always good to remind folks, we do have a diversity of businesses. So what do you all look at in terms of market sectors? Are we increasing in diversity, maintaining? What does that look like?
Yeah, probably the last 2 or 3 years, we have really diversified in terms of manufacturing and seeing a lot of interest coming across the globe here to Plano. We're seeing interest from Taiwan, from Korea, from Japan, from India. We are a global business center here in Plano, and we recruit and we are able to be attractive to companies that want to come here to the United States and start a location here. So a lot of manufacturing happening right now in terms of the RT district, as well as along the George Bush Turnpike. You're going to see a project probably under construction right now. I think they're going vertical today on an adaptive reuse of an old office building that was built in 1982. It had surpassed its lifespan. It needed to be redeveloped. They've now torn that down, and they're putting in some light manufacturing industrial space, which is a big demand for us right now. We don't have enough of that space right now for the demand that's coming in. And that's going to help position us, especially being right across the street from the University of Texas at Dallas, for some really high-tech manufacturing jobs to coming in here into Plano.
I'd like to hear from both of you on this. Peter, let's start with you. How would you rate the overall health of the Plano business market?
I think we're seeing us very vibrant and strong. I work closely with Doug and his team when we are trying to recruit new people. We're constantly having meetings who are interested in Plano, so interest is still strong. I think that we do have some challenges when it comes to sort of old office buildings, but I think we're seeing now even interest in those. Doug instituted a great program where we're rehabbing them to bring them into the modern marketplace, and that's really having an effect. And so I see it as really strong. Businesses come and go, retailers come and go, retail is still hard. It always has been hard. It's still going to be hard. But the question is, how are we backfilling them? Are the spaces being used? I think last time we checked, retail was 6% vacant in Plano, which is basically full. You never get to 100. So I think if you look at retail specifically, it's full. So that means everybody's going along. Is it the kind of retail everybody wants? Maybe, maybe not. But it's still strong.
Yeah, and I agree with what Peter said. We have a very strong market right now. There's a number of kind of indicators and things that are happening in Plano that are really positioning us to continue to be relevant as growth has returned back, as people have returned back to the office, as new investments coming in here into the state, into the country. As growth's happening in North Texas, it's now shifted further north. So Plano is the center of North Texas. If you want to locate your business or you have proximity to workforce up to the north and be able to reach down to downtown Dallas, it's Plano. That kind of center of gravity has moved further north, especially in the last few years with the growth happening in a lot of these northern suburbs that are now the fastest growing cities in the country. So it's really positioned us to be really competitive when they're looking for locations that have a great reach for workforce. As Peter mentioned too, the aggressiveness and the ability for us to not just rest and looking at Collin Creek, looking at the old EDS, which is now Texas Research Quarter, looking at some of these projects that we've worked together on with retail, with the office modernization of conversion of office into industrial. We are being very competitive, very, very aggressive on making sure that we're going to be able to respond to the market, whatever the market may tell us in the future. So I think we are in a really good position. I think the market is warming up. I think we're seeing a lot of activity now, and especially some bigger projects. And I think it shows that we're not going to rest. And while we've seen other areas across the country that may be in decline, if you look at our infrastructure, if you look at our inventory of jobs and inventory of building stock and our workforce here, we're going to be competitive.
Well, I think there's no question that Plano is a great place to do business. And really, I want to thank you guys for your role in keeping it that way.
Well, we couldn't do it without all of the staff behind us. So that's from building inspections to utility people. It's really Team Plano and working together and making it better and keeping ahead of a competition.
Yeah. Also, our great community partners. You look at the strong educational system.
Absolutely.
Plano has a winning mix, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all for joining us again, and we'll come back in a year because I'm sure that there are going to be new stories to tell about business in Plano, but we appreciate your time. And listeners, we know because you email us and give us feedback, so please ask Plano at plano.gov. Let us know what else you'd like to hear, and until then, we'll talk to you next month. Thank you.
And that's it for our Inside Plano. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did doing it.
If you have any comments or suggestions, send them to us at askplano@plano.gov. Bye!
Talk to you next month. The Inside Plano podcast is brought to you by the City of Plano.